Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Julian Grace. Well, high school football is back and some teams took to the field for the first time last night. Some of them kicking things off at the Wake County Schools football kickoff tonight. Let's talk more about it. That's where WRAL's Carly Haynes, she joins us live there now at the Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary. You see her right there. And Carly, it's not just the fun that organizers are thinking about tonight. They're also thinking about safety.
We are seeing some security measures in place, including right here at the front entrance. And the stands are starting to fill out here at the Wake Med Soccer Park for the second annual Wake County Schools and Town of Cary football kickoff. A lot of spirit tonight, but as you said, some safety measures going on as well, since there have been a few incidents at some games over the past few days. Yesterday, a fight broke out at the entrance of Southeast Raleigh Magnet High School as the game was ending. No arrests or injuries, but Raleigh police did try to break it up. Then about a week ago, a fight broke out in the parking lot of Wake Forest High School, forcing the school to cancel its Jamboree tournament midway through. The school added extra police officers at its game last night, and Wake County's new security measures are underway. All visitors are limited to one clear bag when entering all school events, including the one today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously our number one responsibility is always to keep people safe and the safety of our players, our athletes, our fans, and everybody here. So the clear bag policy came into effect after a long conversation with the Board of Ed, and it's we started it somewhere at the end of, I think it was March of last year, and so this is the first beginning of a football season where it's been in place. So it really, it's nothing different than what happens at PNC Arena or Carter Finley Stadium. It's in line with what happens in the world today to just make sure we're keeping people as safe as we can.
And you can catch high school football highlights every Friday at 11:35 p.m. on WRAL, hosted by WRAL's Chris Lee. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Cary.
Glad to see people back out there. Well, family and friends gathered today to remember a mother and daughter killed in a murder-suicide that left two others injured. The funeral service for Kiera Massenberg and her 6-year-old daughter Zoe was held at Red Bud Holy Church in Rocky Mount this morning. Massenberg was remembered for her strength.
Sometimes y'all didn't know she was going through. Why? Because she kept smiling. She understood that one day things would be better. Might not be better in your eyesight, but I promise you, if she could come back today, she'd tell all of y'all, don't worry about me. I'm all right.
Don't worry about me. I'm all right. That's what the speaker said there. Now, authorities say Daquan Jones shot Massenberg and her daughter in Wilson County before turning the gun on himself. They say Jones and Massenberg were in a relationship and 6-year-old Zoe was his child. Jones had previously been arrested for assault, and there was a history of domestic violence in the couple. Now, family and friends hope Massenberg's tragic story can help others be aware of the signs of abuse. Kids U Children's Museum in Chapel Hill will be closed throughout the weekend due to a water main break. The museum said the break at University Place has forced them to close for this time being. Now, the museum was set to host a Ukrainian Independence Day festival today, and we're still working to learn if the festival was impacted by the water main break. Deputies are still working to learn who is responsible for a shooting that damaged a food truck in Raleigh. All of this happened around 9:15 last night on Barrington Drive. The Wake County Sheriff's Office says no one was hurt. Witnesses did say they saw a car leaving the scene. Now, anyone with information is asked to call the Wake County Sheriff's Department. They want to hear from you. People who live in Cary may have noticed a road closure on Walnut Street. So what exactly is going on here? Well, the town says crews restriped the road from Bynum Street to Carytown Boulevard with their work wrapping up yesterday. They also installed new signals and signs to improve safety and efficiency and livability, we're told. You may remember this crash scene in November, or we should say December, this is when this happened. A 6-year-old girl with special needs was hit by a car and died. It was on the same stretch of road that crews worked on over the past 2 weeks. The driver, 50-year-old Andrew Everett, was arrested. He's facing multiple charges, including death by a motor vehicle and involuntary manslaughter. It's an open question for a now closed building. What should happen to the former DMV headquarters just off of New Bern Avenue? The city of Raleigh asked hundreds of residents just that question at an event earlier today. WRAL's Eric Miller was there and has the story.
It's a piece of Raleigh with a deep history. First a fairground, then a hospital, then the state DMV headquarters.
When you think about all those things and everything that's happened, this site has always served the community.
Now the city of Raleigh is asking residents to think about the future at this corner of New Bern Avenue and Tarboro Street and what this land can and should be in the middle of a historically black community.
We have a lot of possibilities, but again, in order to kind of narrow down that list and in order to figure out what we want to prioritize on this site, that's where, again, the community's feedback is coming in.
Shakira Vaughn with the city of Raleigh says what happens to this land, purchased by the city for $20 million last year, is up to the community and a committee made up of longtime residents.
The sky's the limit.
We need everything. We need housing, we need green space, supportive services, but we also like to see shops here.
That's what this needs to be, to serve the people.
Kimberly Mukhtarian has lived in the neighborhood all her life and is cautious. It's already happening in this rapidly gentrifying part of town.
It's been bittersweet because as an African American woman, we have sort of been replaced and removed.
Tara Minter with the DMV Project Committee says she's heard those concerns, but believes growth that honors the community and its history isn't just possible, it's the plan.
It's possible to develop something that will not only help us so where we are here, but also remind people what was, about the culture that is still here.
In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
Great to see that people are making sure their opinions are heard. Now, the city says it will hold more events and collect more feedback over the next year. They plan to demolish the old DMV buildings late this year or early next year. We will continue to follow up on those developments. Look at this. A local barbershop helps students get ready for the new school year. Lux Barber Lounge in Raleigh hosted a back-to-school giveaway today. Trey Lucas and his wife have held this free event for the community for 4 years now. Wow. They get barbers and cosmetologists together to make sure students are able to look and feel their best and have the tools they need to start the new year. And look at the community response. Great to see they are being served today. Well, the fate of 2 stranded astronauts is now clear. This is what we are finding out when they're expected to return back to Earth ahead. Plus, Hillsborough Street is packed with this red and white. Next, look at the block party welcoming NC State students back to campus. Yummy, yummy. Anthony.
Oh, it's making me hungry there, Julian, on this beautiful evening. Perfect night to grill out, by the way. 80s across the entire area for us all right now. We're going to talk about, though, how long this nice weather lasts humidity-wise here coming up after this break.
Welcome back. This year's Lazy Days Arts and Crafts Festival kicked off today. Look at this. It's happening all weekend in downtown Cary. There will be a Kid Days section, and that includes a kids collector's market with pint-sized pieces created by festival artists. Nearly 300 artists from 16 states are participating in the event, including locals like Lauren Hooper.
So I used to be an elementary school social worker, and I loved Miss Frizzle, Lisa Frank, but there were no earrings that matched that style for adults that you could really find anywhere. So I started making my own.
How cool is that? Finding a void and filling it. The festival will continue tomorrow. Admission is free. Happening right now, thousands of students and members of the Wolfpack community are packing Hillsborough Street. Today is Pack-a-Palooza. Now, every year, this block party helps welcome students back to campus. It's open to the public, too. Now, the event goes until 10 o'clock tonight. You can stop by for some music, entertainment, family-friendly activities, and, of course, food. Can't forget about the food. Well, we now know the fate of 2 stranded astronauts. Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore have been stuck in space for more than 2 months. Today, NASA announced the crew will not return to Earth until next year. Rick Damagella explains what led to that decision.
What was supposed to be roughly an 8-day mission to space is now in its 11th week. Issues with the Boeing Starliner spacecraft kept astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore aboard the International Space Station longer than expected. And NASA announced a stunning turn of events Saturday.
NASA has decided that Butch and Sonny will return with Crew 9 next February, and that Starliner will return uncrewed.
The The Starliner vehicle suffered setbacks with helium leaks and thrusters that abruptly stopped working on the initial leg of its first crewed test flight. Engineers spent weeks trying to understand the problem and alternative ways to bring the crew home.
We have contingency options. We've put those in play. NASA always has contingency options.
One of those contingencies is using the SpaceX Crew 9 Dragon spacecraft coming to the rescue. NASA has repeatedly said that SpaceX's potential to step in highlights how the agency intentionally designed its commercial crew program.
Crew 9 mission will now configure Dragon for 2 crew members and will provide seats for Butch and Sonny to return. We're also working to finalize those crew assignments and update the training plan.
The possible root cause was heat building up inside the thrusters that may be causing insulating seals to bulge. And NASA ultimately decided that Starliner is not yet safe enough for the journey home.
Space is hard, and you better not mess it up.
I'm Rick Damigella reporting.
We're wishing Butch and Sonny the absolute best. Let's go to Anthony now. Anthony, please take me to White Lake. It is beautiful out there. I'm so jealous right now.
I know, it's a perfect evening to be out on the water, Julian. Whatever you're doing, just get outside and enjoy this beautiful weather we are seeing across the area. A couple puffy cumulus clouds out there you can see, but it's going to be a good night here to head outside. Just enjoy it because we have some changes on the way into next week, which we'll talk about here in a second. A couple boats out there. You can see the water's pretty still. Again, just a few clouds. It should be a nice evening for all of us across the area. 84 is where we sit there in Raleigh and Durham, 79 in Roxborough. Southern Pines looking a little bit off the map there. It looks like that sensor's down. 81 in Fayetteville, 81 in Clinton. We're also at 79 there in Goldsboro. It feels about like that temperature you see right there. And our muggy meter, this is the nice thing that has been hanging around here the past couple of days. It puts us comfortable there. We're not seeing that tropical level of humidity that sometimes we see, or often really we see during the summer. That changes, though, as we head into next week. Tomorrow and Monday, I really think we'll still feel okay. It's not going to be super noticeable. Humidity, yes, goes up just a little bit. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the way into next weekend, that is when it will be noticeable. You step outside, it feels more uncomfortable, and it comes along here with those feels like values again in the 100 to about 105 range. Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday, it'll feel like 96, and then it really starts to crank back up. I know we've enjoyed, at least some of us, I've seen a lot of comments saying, we love this weather, keep it around. This has been kind of our false fall, if you will. We got to get back into summer, and then we'll start to transition here into the next season. 56, though, for us tonight. Enjoy it. It's going to be a nice start tomorrow morning. 60 degrees in Raleigh, 62 in Clinton. We go to 62 there in Fayetteville, 61 for Goldsboro. Hour by hour during our Sunday, it should be another very similar forecast to what we saw today. Just a touch more humidity, maybe temperatures just a little bit warmer, but still, if you like today, you'll like tomorrow. 87 tomorrow afternoon. Lunchtime, we're looking at temps there in the low to mid 80s. Of course, the second day of Lazy Days there in Cary is happening tomorrow. We'll start off in the upper 60s, 84 at 1 o'clock, right about 85 tomorrow afternoon. No rain or anything expected that would hinder those plans headed out there. You should be good to go. Well, let's talk about the tropics here because, of course, we've been quiet. There hasn't been much to talk about for the past couple of weeks. September 10th is the peak of hurricane season. And this map right here, so the Hurricane Center, the National Hurricane Center, puts out a weekly map saying if there's anything in the next week that we should expect. This is 2 to 3 weeks out from the Climate Prediction Center. What this is essentially saying, you see that red shaded outline there, 60% plus for development within that area. There's the islands right there, the Lesser Antilles, and that's saying into the first couple of weeks of September, we need to watch potentially a system that's going to try and form in that direction. It makes sense here when we look climatologically there. September 10th is that peak for our named storms, and then it starts to drop off into October. So we have a long way to go here in hurricane season. Nothing right now is out in the Atlantic. It's just saying that something could form potentially and is likely to form. 92 there Monday, 95 on Tuesday. Julian, we get back up close to 100 for an actual air temperature on Wednesday. That break has been nice, but it is a rinse and repeat summer pattern headed this way again.
Anthony, you were not joking. Summer is not going anywhere just yet. Hold on. We got to get through it. All right. Thanks, Anthony. Casey, college football is back.
Yeah, I mean, all that false fall weather talk,
right.
But, you know, it is actually really fall on the horizon because we got college football. It's back, and it kicked off today in a big way. We already had some chaos in the ACC. Plus, Bryce Young's preseason debut. Was it worth the wait? Highlights next.
Well,
Carolina Panther fans have been searching for any sort of hope for really the last few years. Well, if you watched the first drive of the preseason finale against Buffalo today, well, the Panthers might have given them just a glimmer of hope. Let's get you out to Highmark Stadium. Second-year quarterback Bryce Young making his preseason debut along with the other first-team offense. They were going to be one and done today, and the lone drive was worth the wait. In an 85-yard, 12-play drive, Young, he shined, completing 6 of 8 passes for 70 yards and an 8-yard touchdown pass that found tight end Jordan Matthews. Albeit against the Bills' reserves, Young and the Panthers offense looked poised and confident, and now they end the preseason with a win, 31-26. Well, if there's one thing the Olympic Games remind us, it's that athletic competition comes in all kinds of forms. Of course, there's swimming, jumping, running. We even saw breakdancing. WRAL Sports' Luis Fernandez shows us the drive and the bonds with local race walkers.
Welcome to the Raleigh Walkers, a competitive race walking team. Head coach and manager Michael Roth has been a part of race walking for decades now. He knows people might chuckle at the odd technique next to something like the 100-meter dash, but
it's something to be taken seriously. I've been around it for a long time, and I've seen the snickering and people make fun of it, but it's a really worthwhile endeavor.
You push yourself to walking's limit.
Your legs get very tight.
But the really good walkers keep their knees straight.
You get tired and sometimes you just want to stop.
There's something extra because there is the technical component.
Jose Fernandez, a PhD student at NC State, and Yvonne Chirino-Clevens, a professor at UNC, are just 2 of the Raleigh Walkers. The group consists of champions, folks competing at the Olympic trials. Chirino-Clevens, a former gymnast, medaled at the Pan American Masters Games this year.
So I am very competitive. And that's part of who I am, and I enjoy the competition.
But it's also the camaraderie. The Raleigh Walkers are spread out all across the country.
We're not all in Raleigh.
Actually, I think I'm the only Raleigh resident.
But it is as if we were together, because there's a lot of emotional support.
And for a growing sport, having someone to push you, to cheer you across the finish line, makes every hard-earned step forward worth it.
I think it's important to find a group that you feel that you belong to. We come from different places, even from different states, from different countries, but we all have the goal of training, getting better, so that brings us together.
Luis Fernandez, WRAL Sports, Raleigh.
The Raleigh Walkers had 3 athletes competing at World Masters in Sweden this month. Chirino-Clevens race walked away with a silver medal.
North Carolina, I just think, Mac Brown's done a really good job there for a long time, does a good job of recruiting. I know they got some key players to replace, including the quarterback. But I just like North Carolina. I just think the speed.
Nick Saban making his college game day debut this morning. And, of course, his first pick on the show going to North Carolina, who opens up at Minnesota on Thursday. Meanwhile, absolutely no love for the Triangle when the panel made its ACC champion picks, bulletin board material, chip on your shoulder, whatever you call it. State Carolina Duke call with maybe a little extra motivation as we embark on this college football season, which got underway today in Ireland. Number 10 Florida State and the ACC favorite taking on conference foe Georgia Tech. Game tied at 21 when Aiden Burr hits a 44-yard field goal as time expired to lift the Yellow Jackets to a 24-21 upset victory. Julian, dare I say, that is going to sting for the Seminoles for a little while.
Yeah,
tough one there.
Just a little bit.
Long flight back from Ireland.
Yeah. Hey, I want to talk more about the Raleigh Walkers, but we're running out of time.
I'll meet you at break. WRL Gardens. We'll be walking.
Let's do it. Thanks, Casey, and thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you later. Have a great night.